The Galactic Empire had seen everything. For thousands of years, its fleets had spread across the stars, vast, glowing armadas of silver and blue ships, each carrying the proud banner of the Empire. They had met insectoid races, crystal beings, and even floating energy creatures that spoke in radio waves. Nothing ever surprised them anymore until one day, they detected humans. It started as a small signal near the outer rim of the Orion Arm, a faint, irregular broadcast full of strange noises. The Imperial survey ship Radiant Dusk picked it up while scanning a quiet star system. The message was repeating in an ancient, forgotten format. "Hello? This is Earth. We come in peace, probably." The Imperial officers had no idea what probably meant, but it didn't sound formal. Commander Vurex, a tall, four-eyed strategist, frowned at the screen. "What is Earth? Is that a code name?" Lieutenant Relo tapped his console nervously. "No record in the archive, sir." "It seems they might be a pre-space species." Vurex leaned closer. "Pre-space? Then how are they transmitting?" The message repeated again, this time followed by a cheerful sound. It was a human song. Loud drums, electric guitars, and a voice shouting, "We will rock you." Every alien on the bridge flinched. "Is this a war chant?" asked Rilo, his antennae twitching. "Perhaps," Vurex said seriously. "Prepare a diplomatic envoy immediately. We must contact these Earthlings before they rock anyone." Meanwhile, back on Earth, things were not going according to any galactic protocol. In a small research base on the moon, a young scientist named Lena Carter stared at the communication logs. Her team had been experimenting with a deep space radio beacon meant to test faster-than-light signaling. It was supposed to send harmless data packets, nothing fancy, but somehow, her intern had uploaded a playlist of 80s rock songs into the transmission buffer. And now, an alien fleet was replying. The first reply came in the form of a calm digital signal that simply said, "We acknowledge your declaration of rocking. The Galactic Empire greets your world." Lena's jaw dropped. "Wait, did we just start first contact with aliens using Queen?" Her colleague, Raj, was laughing so hard he nearly spilled his coffee. "This is amazing. We're going to be remembered forever as the planet that introduced aliens to classic rock." Across the void, the Radiant Dusk crew watched the strange human responses with confusion. The humans seemed to treat this serious diplomatic event like a comedy. When the Empire sent a formal message, complete with glowing seals, ceremonial music, and a speech about unity, the reply they received from Earth was a short video clip of humans waving their hands and shouting, "Sup, aliens. You guys like pizza?" Commander Vurex turned to his officers in silence. Then slowly he asked, "What is pizza?" Relo checked the translation log. "It appears to be edible, a circular food, with melted animal cheese." "Disgusting," muttered Vurex, "but somehow fascinating." The humans continued to send random messages, funny memes, movie quotes, and something called cat videos. The entire bridge crew was soon completely baffled. "Commander, the humans have sent another data burst," reported Relo. "It contains an image of a small animal wearing sunglasses." Vurex blinked all four eyes. "Is it a threat?" "I don't think so, sir. It says, deal with it." Lena and her team back on the moon were laughing hysterically by now. "We're communicating with aliens through memes," Raj said between giggles. "This is going to change science forever," Lena replied, still typing furiously to translate their latest message. "But first, let's make sure they know we're friendly. Send them something peaceful. What about that dancing astronaut video?" "Perfect." Within minutes, the Galactic Empire received a new transmission, a human in a spacesuit doing a silly dance in front of a blue Earth. The Imperial officers were speechless. Even the ship's AI paused for a full 3 seconds before responding. Finally, Vurex stood up and said in a grave voice, "Either this species is incredibly advanced or completely insane." The Imperial Council back on the homeworld soon got the report. 100 senators and diplomats gathered in the Grand Hall to watch the human messages on a massive holographic display. The first clip showed humans waving and smiling. The second was full of animals. The third was a cooking show. Silence filled the room. Then an elderly counselor spoke. "These humans do not act like any intelligent species we've encountered. They show no fear, no formality, no respect for the Empire." Another replied, Or perhaps they are so powerful that they see no need for it. Gasps filled the chamber. They mock us because they can afford to. Perhaps they have weapons far beyond ours. Within hours, the Empire declared a full-scale diplomatic investigation. Massive fleets were mobilized not to attack but to observe this bizarre species. The Emperor himself watched the human transmissions on his private screen. His aides waited for his reaction. After a long moment, the Emperor spoke quietly. "Prepare the royal translator. I must know. What is 'we will rock you' supposed to mean?" Back on Earth, things were spinning out of control in the most hilarious way. The media had somehow intercepted the signals, and the news headline read, "Aliens love human music." Social media exploded. Thousands of people were sending their own greetings into space. Music videos, memes, and even cooking recipes. Some people even made parody songs like "We Will Talk to You." Governments tried to calm everyone down, but it was too late. Humanity had officially become the weirdest species in the galaxy. Lena sat in front of her screen, watching as the data stream from the Empire continued. Her small experiment had become the biggest story in human history. Raj grinned at her. "We just made first contact, and instead of fear or panic, everyone's making jokes." "That's so human." She nodded slowly. "Yeah, maybe that's what makes us special." In the dark void between stars, the Imperial fleet approached the solar system. Thousands of glowing ships lined up in perfect formation, their captains ready for a cautious approach. But as soon as they entered human communication range, their sensors were flooded with thousands of random signals. One of them said, "Welcome, aliens. Don't forget to subscribe." Another said, "Well, please bring snacks." And one strange transmission was just, Rick Astley, the fleet's communication officer, looked like he was about to faint. "Commander, the humans have sent us a song. It repeats endlessly. It's called, 'Never Gonna Give You Up.'" Vurex closed his eyes and whispered, "They're toying with us." The Emperor received his next report later that day. Apparently, humans had sent more songs, images, and gifts. The Imperial advisors begged him to respond carefully. But the Emperor just smiled for the first time in centuries. "These humans are not what I expected," he said softly. "Let us meet them. Perhaps we can learn what it means to rock." And so the mightiest empire in the galaxy prepared for an official meeting with the strangest and funniest species they had ever encountered. Humanity had no idea what kind of storm it had started. But one thing was certain. The galaxy would never be the same again. The royal palace of the Galactic Empire had never been so quiet. Golden pillars stretched up into the clouds, and massive banners of the imperial crest shimmered in the air. Courtiers, soldiers, and scientists all stood waiting for the Emperor to speak. But instead of his usual deep and commanding voice, they heard something unexpected. A faint sound echoed through the grand hall. It was a beat. Then came clapping. Then came the unmistakable rhythm of "We Will Rock You." Every alien in the room froze. The sound came from the Emperor's personal console. The old ruler sat on his throne wearing a long robe made of shimmering crystal fibers. His face was unreadable as he watched the strange human song playing on the display. Finally, he raised a clawed finger. "Again," he said. The guards exchanged nervous looks, but the technician obeyed. The song started over. Boom, boom, clap, boom, boom, clap. The Emperor nodded slowly to the beat. "My ancestors fought wars that lasted centuries," he said softly. "And yet, this simple rhythm, it makes me feel alive," the court whispered among themselves. None of them had ever seen the Emperor enjoy anything before. In a smaller chamber nearby, Commander Vurex stood stiffly before the Council of Advisors. "The humans are unpredictable," he reported. "They communicate through strange symbols, videos, and sounds. Their messages are filled with humor and nonsense." Advisor Zira tapped her long, thin fingers on the table. "Do you believe they are dangerous?" Vurex hesitated. "In a way, yes. Not because of their weapons, but because of their minds. They laugh in the face of the unknown. That makes them impossible to control," the advisors murmured. Zira frowned. "The Emperor plans to meet them personally. That is risky. What if they mock him?" "They already have," Vurex replied. "And somehow he enjoys it." Meanwhile on Earth, the world had turned the alien contact into a festival. Cities were covered in banners that said, "Welcome, galactic friends." Shops were selling alien-friendly food, and kids were drawing pictures of green creatures with big smiles. The funniest part? No one was afraid. Instead of panic or fear, people were posting jokes online like, "Do aliens pay rent? If they land, someone teach them how to order coffee. Maybe they'll fix traffic." Even the United Earth Council couldn't keep a straight face during their meetings. The global representative, Madame Jo, sighed as she looked at the crowd of diplomats laughing over the latest alien message. "They sent us their royal seal and asked about pizza again," one official said, holding back laughter. Jo smiled. "Well, at least they're interested in our culture. Tell them we'll gladly share the recipe." In the Moon Research Base, Lena Carter was still the main communicator. Her screen blinked with the latest message from the Empire. "The Emperor requests a direct meeting with Earth's leaders. Please prepare an official greeting ceremony. Also, what is karaoke?" Raj nearly fell off his chair laughing. "They want karaoke? Are you kidding?" Lena grinned. "This is history, Raj. The most powerful empire in the galaxy wants to sing with us." "Then we better choose a good song," he said. Far across the stars, the Emperor's flagship, the Celestial Crown, prepared for its first hyperspace jump toward the solar system. The ship was enormous, a floating city of light and metal, filled with thousands of soldiers, diplomats, and scientists. The Emperor himself sat in his personal chamber, studying human culture through the Galactic network. He watched documentaries, news clips, and music videos. The more he saw, the more fascinated he became. "These humans are strange," he told his advisor. "They fight, they argue, and yet they always find reasons to laugh." "Yes, Your Majesty," said the advisor carefully. "They seem to find joy in everything, even chaos." The Emperor looked thoughtful. "Perhaps that is why they are fearless." He leaned back and watched another video, this one of humans performing a silly dance called the chicken dance. He didn't understand it. But for the first time in his life, the Emperor laughed. A week later, the Imperial fleet appeared near Jupiter. The ships glowed like stars, their formation so perfect that astronomers on Earth gasped in awe. Lena's moon base received the official message first. "We come in peace and curiosity. The Emperor wishes to learn what it means to laugh." The entire control room burst out laughing. Raj said, "They're taking it seriously. This is going to be the funniest peace meeting in history." On Earth, preparations went into overdrive. Every country sent representatives and the world united for one purpose: to meet the aliens with friendliness and humor. The first human-built starship capable of short-range travel, the Voyager 2 Plus, was chosen to meet the Emperor's flagship halfway. Lena Carter and Raj were selected as human ambassadors because, as one official said, they're the ones who started this mess. When the Voyager 2 Plus reached orbit near Jupiter, the sight before them was breathtaking. The Celestial Crown was the size of a small moon, surrounded by smaller escort ships. Its surface shimmered like a golden ocean. "Beautiful," whispered Raj. Then their communication screen lit up. A tall alien with 4 eyes and silver-blue skin appeared. It was Commander Vurex, Humans of Earth, he said formally. "The Emperor awaits." Lena smiled nervously. "Ah, great. We brought snacks." Vurex blinked. "Snacks?" "Food for sharing." He looked puzzled but nodded. "The Emperor will be honored." Inside the Imperial throne room aboard the Celestial Crown, the atmosphere was tense but curious. Dozens of alien officers stood along the walls watching as the 2 humans stepped in, wearing simple suits and carrying a box. The Emperor rose slowly from his seat. "So these are the humans who taught the galaxy to rock," he said in a deep voice. Lena and Raj bowed slightly. "It's an honor, Your Majesty." The Emperor studied them carefully. "Your species is unique. You send jokes instead of warnings. You send music instead of threats." "Why?" Lena thought for a moment. Then she said simply, "Because that's who we are. When we meet something new, we don't hide. We smile," Raj nodded, "and sometimes we sing." The Emperor tilted his head. "Sing?" "Yes," Lena said, holding up a small device. "We brought you a gift." She pressed a button. The small speaker played "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen. The alien stared. The music filled the throne room, bouncing off the golden walls. Then, to everyone's shock, the Emperor started tapping his claws to the beat. Commander Vurex's jaw nearly dropped. The court whispered in disbelief. When the song ended, the Emperor looked at the humans and said, "Again." Lena smiled. "Of course." Hours later, the Celestial Crown was echoing with laughter and music. The Emperor had declared a cultural exchange celebration, Humans played their songs, taught dances, and even shared pizza with the alien crew. The aliens, in turn, showed holographic art and strange light instruments that created melodies out of energy. For the first time in galactic history, an Imperial ship was filled with joy, not commands. Vierex stood silently at the edge of the room, watching humans laugh and sing with his crew. He turned to Lena and said quietly, "Your people are strange. You make the Emperor laugh and the crew forgets their fear." Lena smiled warmly. "That's what humor does, it brings people together." Vierex nodded slowly. "Perhaps your kind truly is special." Later that night, as the celebration quieted down, the Emperor looked out at the stars through the grand window. He spoke softly to himself. "For centuries our empire has known power, but not joy. These humans, these small, noisy beings reminded us what happiness feels like." He turned to his advisors. "Send this message to the Galactic Council. Humanity is not to be feared. They are to be respected." Back on Earth, when the transmission arrived, Lena and Raj were already surrounded by reporters. The screen displayed the Emperor's official message. "To the people of Earth, you have taught the Empire the meaning of laughter. We thank you. Long live your music." The entire world cheered. From that day forward, humans were no longer seen as a primitive species. They were known across the stars as the people who made the Emperor laugh. The news that the mighty Emperor of the Galactic Empire had laughed spread faster than a supernova. Across hundreds of alien worlds, leaders, scientists, and soldiers stared at their screens in disbelief. The Emperor, known for being serious, wise, and terrifying, had been seen dancing to human music. For the first time in 1,000 years, the galaxy was confused. On the planet Valtoria, home of the Galactic Council, things were in chaos. The Great Council chamber, usually filled with calm debate, now sounded like a zoo. Delegates from 50 different species shouted over one another. Tentacles waved, wings flapped, claws clicked, and translators struggled to keep up. "This is madness," roared Senator Grohl, a reptilian with bright yellow scales. "The Emperor cannot be serious. He's wasting time on primitive creatures who sing about rocking and dancing queens." A thin insectoid diplomat clicked angrily, and he shared food with them. "Pizza. Do you know what that even is?"
"Melted animal cheese."
"Unthinkable." At the far end of the hall, the Grand Speaker, an ancient being with a glowing body, raised a shimmering hand. "Silence." The noise slowly faded. "The Emperor has not lost his mind," the speaker said. "He has found something our empire has forgotten: joy. Perhaps these humans are not primitive. Perhaps they are." "Teachers!" Gasps filled the chamber. Some senators looked offended. Others looked curious. Meanwhile, on the Celestial Crown, life had changed completely. Gone were the strict, silent halls. Now the ship buzzed with cheerful voices and strange Earth sounds. Some crew members even tried to sing human songs, though badly. Commander Vierex walked through a corridor where a group of soldiers were clapping along to "We Will Rock You." He sighed but couldn't help smiling. "Humans have infected the ship with rhythm," he muttered. At the recreation deck, Lena Carter and Raj had become minor celebrities. Everywhere they went, curious aliens stopped them to ask questions. Why do humans laugh even when they are scared? What is the purpose of dancing? And what does boogie mean? Raj laughed as he tried to explain. Dancing is how we show happiness. Boogie just means to move with fun. One alien officer tried it immediately. The sight of a tall, four-legged creature trying to boogie made everyone burst out laughing. Vierex arrived just in time to see the scene and shook his head. "I hope the Emperor doesn't see this." "The Emperor started it," Lena replied with a grin. "He's the one who asked for music." Indeed, the Emperor had started something no one could stop. When word of his laughter reached the Galactic Council, many worlds began sending their own greetings to Earth. Some were curious, some were suspicious, but all wanted to understand the species that made the Emperor smile. Within days, Earth's skies were full of visitors, scout ships, diplomats, and even alien tourists. The humans greeted them with open arms, funny signs, and of course, food. One alien delegation from the planet Tyrell was treated to a barbecue party. Another delegation from Zerfa was invited to a karaoke night. They had no idea what was going on, but they loved it. Humanity had become the galaxy's favorite source of entertainment and curiosity. Back in the Galactic Council, things were heating up again. Senator Grohl slammed his claws on the table.
This must stop. The Empire's fleets are now singing.
Singing. Discipline is falling apart. The insectoid diplomat buzzed in agreement. They even replaced the alarm sound on the battlecruisers with human music. What song? Someone asked. Something called Eye of the Tiger. The entire chamber fell silent. The Grand Speaker leaned forward, fascinated. A song about courage, yes? Perhaps this is not so foolish, Senator Grohl growled. We are warriors, not entertainers. But another senator, a calm amphibian, spoke softly. Perhaps you do not understand, Grohl. These humans did not conquer us with weapons. They conquered us with laughter. The room fell quiet again. Even Grohl had no reply. Meanwhile, on Earth, Lena and Raj were interviewed on every channel. Reporters called them the first galactic comedians. How does it feel to change the universe with humor? One journalist asked. Lena smiled. It felt amazing, but also a little funny. We didn't plan any of this. We just wanted to say hello. Raj added. Maybe the galaxy needed a good laugh. We just gave it one. On the Celestial Crown, the Emperor held a private meeting with Commander Vurex. Tell me, Commander, said the Emperor. How does the Council react? Vurex hesitated. Some are confused, some are angry. They do not understand your happiness. The Emperor looked thoughtful. For centuries we ruled with fear. It kept us powerful but cold. The humans reminded me of warmth. He turned to the stars outside. They live short lives, yet they fill every moment with meaning. Songs, jokes, friendship, they waste nothing. Vurex bowed respectfully. Then what are your orders, my Emperor? The Emperor smiled faintly. I wish to visit Earth myself. Vorex's eyes widened. Personally, that is unprecedented. I have seen every world in the galaxy, said the Emperor. But only on Earth have I seen something new. When news of the Emperor's planned visit reached the Council, it caused an uproar. This is dangerous, cried Senator Grohl. He is walking into a world of chaos. But the Grand Speaker replied calmly, maybe chaos is exactly what we need. And so, with great ceremony, the Emperor's flagship began its journey toward Earth. On the day of his arrival, the entire planet was watching.
Cities lit up.
Flags waved. People sang songs. Children held signs that said, Welcome, Emperor. In New York, a massive crowd gathered around the landing site, an open field surrounded by banners, cameras, and laughter. Lena and Raj stood at the front, nervous but excited. The sky shimmered as the celestial crown appeared above the clouds. The giant ship slowly descended, and a beam of light formed a golden platform on the ground. Then the Emperor appeared, tall, majestic, shining in silver-blue armor. The crowd went silent for a moment, and then someone in the back shouted, Play the music. Suddenly, the speakers blasted, We are the champions. The Emperor paused. Then, to everyone's amazement, he smiled. The first words he spoke on Earth were simple. I have come to laugh. The crowd erupted in cheers. People clapped, shouted, and waved flags. Some even danced. Lena stepped forward with a small gift, a guitar. Welcome to Earth, Your Majesty. This is for you. The Emperor examined it curiously. A weapon? No, Lena said, laughing. An instrument. She strummed a few strings, and the sound filled the air. The Emperor's eyes widened. Beautiful. Then Raj handed him a slice of pizza. And this is called happiness in edible form. The Emperor looked at it cautiously, then took a small bite. His eyes sparkled. Delicious! The crowd cheered again. That evening, the Emperor attended a massive celebration in Central Park. Humans and aliens stood side by side under the lights. Music played, people danced, and laughter filled the air. At one point, the Emperor himself tried to play the guitar. It sounded terrible, but everyone clapped anyway. Lena whispered to Raj, We just made the most powerful man in the galaxy do karaoke. Raj grinned. We're legends. Far above Earth, the Galactic Council watched the event through live transmission. Senator Grohl stared at the screen in disbelief. He's smiling, and the humans are making him sing. The Grand Speaker nodded slowly. Do you see it now, Grohl? The humans are not a threat. They are a cure. A cure for what? Grohl asked. For boredom. The Speaker replied with a gentle laugh. By the end of the night, the Emperor stood before the crowd and raised his hands. People of Earth, he said, You have taught the galaxy that joy is power. You do not fight to win, you laugh to live, and in doing so you have conquered the coldness in our hearts." The crowd roared with applause. Lena looked up at the stars and whispered, "We really did it. Humanity finally joined the galaxy and made it laugh." Raj nodded. "Now that's history." The next morning, every news network in the galaxy carried the same headline: "The Emperor sings with humans. Galactic history made." The Empire had changed forever, and so had humanity. After the Emperor's first visit to Earth, the galaxy was buzzing with curiosity and confusion. Every world wanted to know what made humans so extraordinary. Back on Earth, Lena, Carter, and Raj were busy again. Their small moon base had become the de facto embassy for human-alien relations. Aliens of all shapes and sizes arrived daily to study humans, their culture, and their humor. Some aliens tried to imitate humans. A group of tall, translucent beings from Orion 5 attempted to dance. They wobbled and shimmered awkwardly, which made everyone, including other aliens, laugh. Raj shook his head. "Humans don't look graceful most of the time either. So they fit right in." Lena smiled. "Exactly. It's not about perfection. It's about trying and enjoying it." Meanwhile, the Emperor returned to his flagship, the Celestial Crown, but he could not stop thinking about Earth. He summoned Commander Vurex. "Prepare the Imperial instructors," he said. "We must understand these humans. I want to learn their ways, how they live, how they think, how they find joy." Vurex raised an eyebrow. "You intend to study a species through laughter and food?" "Yes," the Emperor replied. "Perhaps that is the greatest strength any species can have." Vurex hesitated but nodded. "As you command, my Emperor." The Galactic Council, still in a state of mild panic, received reports about Earth's growing influence. Senator Grohl's tentacles twitched with frustration. They are not soldiers, yet every world respects them. They do not conquer, yet they command attention. "How is this possible?" The Grand Speaker leaned back. "They have something our empire has lost: warmth. Courage is important, but so is joy. And humans have it in abundance," Grohl growled softly. "So we are learning lessons from comedians?" "Yes," said another counselor. "But these are no ordinary comedians. They teach without words, guide without force, and unite without control." The chamber fell silent. On Earth, humanity began sharing more of its culture with the galaxy. Schools created programs to teach aliens about Earth's music, art, and games. Museums displayed human inventions. Scientists held workshops showing how humans solved problems creatively, often in unexpected ways. Lena and Raj led the first human lessons program for visiting aliens. One alien, a massive, rock-like creature from Gravitar 9, struggled to play hopscotch. Its legs were too heavy and the chalk kept breaking against its rocky skin. "Just jump lightly," Lena instructed. The creature hesitated, then hopped carefully. It fell over and laughed in a deep, rumbling voice. "Fun. Humans are strange but enjoyable." Raj grinned. "Exactly. It's okay to fail as long as you enjoy trying." Meanwhile, the Emperor had started a personal experiment. He began spending days on Earth with Lena and Raj, observing humans and taking notes. He attended football games, music concerts, and cooking contests. He even attempted karaoke, though the humans politely adjusted the microphone for his 4 claws. The Emperor discovered something remarkable. Humans could face challenges with humor. One day, a minor space storm disrupted interstellar communications. Humans in the moon base didn't panic. Lena just said, "Well, I guess the aliens want us to take a break." Raj added, "Maybe the universe just wants a laugh." The Emperor realized that humans turned obstacles into opportunities for joy. That simple approach changed the way he thought about leadership. As weeks passed, aliens visiting Earth began to adopt human customs. A group of amphibians from Zephyr tried wearing hats and sunglasses. A crystalline species from Lunara learned to clap their multiple limbs to music. Even serious diplomats from Draconis Prime were caught dancing in the streets during festivals. Lena watched them with amazement. "It's like they're learning to be human," Raj laughed. "Or at least learning how to enjoy being themselves. That's half the battle." One day, a conference was held to discuss the Emperor's new approach to diplomacy. Representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered in a large dome on Earth. The Emperor spoke to them. "You have seen humans laugh, dance, and share meals. They do not conquer with weapons, they conquer with spirit. This is a lesson for all civilizations. Strength is not just power, it is joy, creativity, and courage in the face of the unknown, the alien delegates murmured among themselves. Many nodded, some scratched their heads, but all were paying attention. Senator Grohl, present reluctantly, whispered to a colleague, "I don't understand it, but I want some of it." Back on the moon, Lena and Raj were preparing another event. This time, a talent show for humans and aliens together. Aliens displayed incredible abilities, floating in zero gravity, creating light sculptures and performing musical patterns unknown to humans. Humans, in turn, showed juggling, funny dances, and playful inventions. The audience, mixed humans and aliens, cheered and laughed together. Lena leaned toward Raj. "Look at that. Humans didn't dominate. They shared. And somehow they made everyone feel included." Raj nodded. "Yeah, that's the human way." The Emperor observed the event from the balcony. For the first time, he saw leadership not as control but as inspiration. Humans had reminded him that a ruler's greatest power was to unite, not intimidate. He turned to Commander Vurex. "What lessons do we take from them?" Vurex thought carefully. "They teach us patience, creativity, and joy. They show that strength can come from laughter and cooperation rather than fear." The Emperor nodded. "Indeed. Perhaps it is time the Empire adopts some of these lessons. Perhaps we have been too rigid for too long." That evening, Earth celebrated the humans' achievements across the galaxy. News channels reported, "Humans teach aliens to laugh." "Emperor joins Earth talent show." "Galaxy discovers the fun side of life." Humans shared their food, music, games, and simple philosophies with aliens. The message was clear. Joy is universal and unity is possible through kindness and humor. Lena and Raj watched the celebrations, exhausted but proud. Raj said, "You know, Lena, humanity didn't just meet aliens. We reminded the galaxy to smile." Lena smiled softly. "And that is more important than anything else." As the Imperial fleet prepared to return to their worlds, the Emperor sent a message across the galaxy. "Let it be known, the humans are not a species to be feared. They are a species to be admired. Their laughter, courage, and creativity are gifts to the galaxy. Let all civilizations learn from them." The Galactic Council received the message in stunned silence. Senator Grohl read it aloud, his voice trembling. They actually admire us?" "Yes," the Grand Speaker said quietly. "And that is the lesson of Earth. Strength without joy is empty. Courage without laughter is hollow. Humans show us that life is to be lived fully, and that is the greatest power of all." Back on Earth, Lena and Raj celebrated quietly at the moon base. "Do you think the galaxy will ever forget us?" Raj asked. Lena laughed. "No, they'll remember humans for generations. Not for our weapons or our technology or even our courage, but for our spirit." A small alarm beeped. Another alien delegation had arrived, eager to learn. Lena looked at Raj and grinned. "Guess we've got more lessons to teach," Raj chuckled. "And more fun to have. That's humanity for you." And so the humans continued to teach the galaxy how to laugh, play, and live fully. In every star system, stories spread about the small, noisy, and joyful species from Earth. Humans who faced the unknown with music, food, jokes, and endless curiosity. For the first time in centuries, aliens and humans alike realized something profound. Strength was not just in ships, fleets, or weapons. Strength was in joy, courage, and the willingness to embrace life, even when it seemed absurd. And humanity led the way. The galaxy had changed forever. News of humans spreading joy, laughter, and curiosity reached every inhabited star system. Alien races discussed the peculiar species that could make the Emperor of the Galactic Empire sing, laugh, and even dance. For humanity, life continued much the same, chaotic, noisy, and full of energy, but now with a galactic audience. On Earth, Lena Carter and Raj were preparing for yet another historic event. The Galactic Council had requested a human culture exhibition, inviting representatives from hundreds of worlds to see Earth firsthand. The moon base buzzed with excitement. Aliens lined up to learn about human music, food, games, and inventions. Some practiced human phrases while others attempted Earth dances, often clumsily but always enthusiastically. Raj looked around, overwhelmed. I never imagined humans could become teachers to the galaxy, Lena smiled. We didn't plan it. We just acted like ourselves. That's enough. Meanwhile, the Emperor of the Galactic Empire had returned to Earth, determined to continue learning. He visited schools, parks, and scientific facilities. Children waved at him, laughing, and even taught him to play simple Earth games like hopscotch and tag. The Emperor was fascinated. For centuries, he had studied strategy, power, and control. Now he studied laughter, creativity, and friendship. He watched humans approach problems with imagination rather than force, and he began to see the galaxy in a new way. One day, the Emperor stood before a gathering of aliens and humans. The crowd was massive, stretching across a vast field, filled with beings from every corner of the galaxy. He spoke slowly, carefully, and with a smile. People of Earth, you have done something remarkable. You have shown that power is not only in fleets and armies but in courage, joy, and creativity. You have taught the Empire and the galaxy to see the value of life itself. The crowd cheered. Humans waved flags and signs while aliens clapped with excitement. Even the most serious diplomats could not hide their smiles. Raj whispered to Lena, "Do you think they'll ever get over this?" Lena laughed softly. "No, and I hope they never do." As part of the exhibition, humans and aliens participated in a festival of unity. Music, art, and food from every corner of the galaxy filled the streets. Aliens tried Earth snacks, pizza, ice cream, and chocolate, while humans sampled alien delicacies like floating crystals from Lunara and glowing fruit from Orion 5. One alien accidentally sneezed a rainbow mist while tasting chocolate. The humans laughed and named it the Cosmic Sneeze. Soon it became a viral sensation across multiple planets. The Emperor watched from a balcony, a small smile on his usually stern face. "These humans, they bring joy even in accidents." Vurek, standing beside him, nodded. "And that is their power, my Emperor. Not intimidation, not conquest, pure spirit." The Galactic Council, still adjusting to humanity's influence, held a formal session. Senator Grohl, the grumpy reptilian, sighed. "I still do not fully understand them. They are so reckless and loud, yet everyone respects them. Everyone listens to them. Even the Emperor learns from them." The Grand Speaker leaned forward. "Do you see, Grohl? Humans are a mirror. They remind us of what we have forgotten, how to live fully, how to embrace joy, and how to be brave without fear." Grohl's claws tapped nervously on the table. "Perhaps there is wisdom in laughter." "Yes," the speaker replied, "and humans are teaching it to the galaxy." On Earth, Lena and Raj were called to a special ceremony. The Emperor himself wanted to honor humans for their contribution to galactic peace. The ceremony was held in a massive dome. Humans and aliens gathered together, exchanging gifts, songs, and stories. The Emperor approached Lena and Raj, holding a small glowing crystal. "This," he said, "represents the spirit of humanity, joy, courage, and curiosity. It is a symbol of what your species has given to the galaxy." Lena accepted it humbly. "We didn't do it alone. Humanity is full of these moments every day," Raj added, "and we're just getting started." The Emperor nodded. "I have learned more from your species than centuries of study. The galaxy will remember this day forever." After the ceremony, humans invited aliens to try simple games and dances. Children from Earth taught aliens how to skip rope and hop in rhythm. Alien youth showed humans how to manipulate light to create images in midair. For the first time, species from thousands of worlds truly understood each other, not through politics or trade, but through shared experience, laughter, and curiosity. The Emperor walked among them, quietly observing. He saw diplomats drop their formalities, soldiers forget their rigid routines, and scholars laughing freely with children. "This is remarkable," he whispered to Vurex. "Yes, my Emperor. The humans have changed everything." As the festival continued, a small human boy approached the Emperor. He offered a simple flower. The Emperor accepted it, carefully examining the delicate petals. "What is your name?" he asked. "Tommy," the boy said. "I just wanted to say welcome." The Emperor smiled. "Thank you, Tommy. Your world, your people, have taught the galaxy something precious." Tommy shrugged. "We just like to have fun." The Emperor chuckled softly. "Sometimes that is exactly what the galaxy needs." That night, Lena and Raj reflected on everything that had happened. Raj shook his head in disbelief. Humans started with a few songs and jokes, and now we've changed the galaxy. Lena nodded. We didn't plan it, but that's humanity. We do what we can, we have fun, and somehow it becomes history. They looked out at the stars, imagining how far their laughter and joy had traveled. From small beginnings on Earth and the Moon, humanity had inspired entire civilizations. The Emperor returned to the Galactic Empire's homeworld, carrying lessons learned from Earth. He called a council session and spoke with authority. Let it be known, all civilizations of the galaxy, strength is not only in conquest. Courage is not only in battle. True power is in joy, creativity, and curiosity. Humanity has shown us this. We must follow their example. Across countless star systems, beings from hundreds of worlds began to reevaluate their priorities. Peaceful cooperation, curiosity, and laughter became a new form of diplomacy. The galaxy would never be the same again. Back on Earth, humanity continued its everyday life, unaware of the profound effect they had created. Children laughed, scientists experimented, and musicians played songs that traveled across the stars. Aliens walked freely among humans, learning and celebrating life. Lena and Raj watched all of it, smiling. We may be small, Lena said, but we're loud, curious, and full of heart. Raj laughed. And apparently that's enough to make the galaxy listen. Months later, the Emperor returned to Earth for another visit, not as a ruler, but as a student. He attended human festivals, tried new foods, and even attempted to dance again. Aliens joined him, clumsily copying his movements. Everywhere he looked, he saw joy, laughter, and collaboration. He realized that humanity had accomplished something no empire could achieve. They had united worlds through spirit, not fear. From that day forward, humans were known across the galaxy as the people who made the Emperor laugh. They became symbols of courage, curiosity, and joy. Every world told stories of Earth's strange, noisy, and wonderful inhabitants, beings who sang, danced, and laughed in the face of the unknown. And humanity?
Humanity kept doing exactly what it had always done, living fully, exploring boldly, and of course,
making everyone around them smile. The galaxy would never forget them. The Emperor smiled, watching humans play and aliens join in. Perhaps, he thought, the greatest power in the universe is laughter.